Yeah, come on down. Can I scoot in the middle there somewhere? Can I scoot in here somewhere? There we go, in there. Okay, let me get in there. All right. Well, I got a book with me this morning I thought maybe y'all would like to look at. It's a children's Bible book. And it's just like the big people's, it's just like, don't slap the Bible. Don't slap the Bible. Okay. It's like the adult's Bible, the big Bible, but this Bible has got pictures in it. Isn't that neat? And you can see the story in there about it. And I wanted to take and share that with you this morning. And let's pick a story in here this morning. And here's one about a fellow that I saw a movie about a couple of years ago. And when I went to see this movie, it talked about Jonah and the whale. Now, as you see the pictures in here, can you see the pictures? See all the water and the ship in the water? Can you see the ship in the water down there? And Jonah was a man that God called to be a preacher. He called him to be a preacher, but he didn't want to go do any preaching because he wanted to go where he wanted to go, and God told him to go where God wanted him to go. And sometimes God sends us to places that we don't want to go. And so this preacher, he decided what he would do. Instead of going where God told him to go, he decided he would get on a ship and go as far as he could away from God. And sometimes in our lives, Mama or Daddy tells us to do something, and we decide that we don't want to do it. So we go and hide, and we go far away, and we hide ourselves so that Mama can't find us. And that's kind of what Jonah did, is he got on board the ship. But as he got on board the ship, and the ship started sailing, all of a sudden the water got real big, and it began to toss the ship around, and it looked like every one of them was going to die in the water. And Jonah thought, wow. But the other people on the ship, they thought, what is going on? The water's never been this bad before. And then one of the other people that were on the ship, they said, you know what? I think we got a problem. Somebody on this ship has angered the gods. And so they decided that what they were going to do is find out who it was, and they were going to chunk him over, whoever was bad. Well, Jonah stood up and says, I know who the God is. I know God, and God's not mad at y'all. God's mad at me. I've done wrong. Sometimes we go home and we got a couple of dogs and a cat in the house. Any of y'all have dogs and cats in your house? You do? You have one dog in your house? And you go home and the dog or the cat has messed up the whole house. And you walk inside and you look at the dog and the cat and you say, who messed up this house? And all the dogs is just standing around looking like, I'm happy you're home. But one of the dogs is kind of in the back looking like this. Like, I hope he doesn't figure out it's me. Well, that's what happened on the ship. Jonah said, it's me. I'm the one that did bad. And if you'll throw me overboard, see here how they threw Jonah over? They threw him into the water. And guess what? He didn't land in the water. What did he land in? He landed in a great big whale. See that whale's mouth open? And that whale says, goodness, I'm going to have something good to eat today. He's going to eat Jonah, wasn't he? And so sometimes, we do that too. We think we're getting away with something. But sure enough, we get caught. He got caught by a whale, but sometimes we get caught by Mom and Daddy. They're the whale. They catch us. And we're in big trouble then, aren't we? And so what is it? Jonah, he was in the whale's belly. And I don't know how Jonah lived in the whale's belly. God did it. And when God does it, God can do anything He wants to. And so Jonah was there. He was sloshing around in the whale's belly. And in the show I went to see, it was a live show, they had this humongous whale. It was out in Branson, Missouri. And that whale was as long as this room is. And it was half as tall as this. And Jonah was up inside that belly of that whale. And he was talking to the audience, and he said, boy, I've messed up bad. I have made somebody mad. And sometimes when we get tossed into the belly of the whale, we get in trouble with Mama and Daddy. We're in big trouble. And you know what Mama and Daddy wants us to do? They want us to tell the truth, don't they? They want us to tell what we did. So that's what Jonah did. Jonah told God, he says, I'm at wrong. You called me to be a preacher. You told me to go to Nineveh and preach there, but I didn't want to go. But God, if you get me out of this whale's belly, I'll go to Nineveh and I'll preach. And so God took and caused the whale to go, and out comes Jonah. He comes spewing out of that whale's mouth. Doesn't sound very good, does it? And when he spewed him out, he landed on the shore, and Jonah stood up and shook himself off, and he probably had all that whale goo on him. Ooh. And so here he was, and you know what he did? The first thing he did? He went to Nineveh and he preached. Now, here's what I'm getting at. As boys and girls, sometimes we want to run away like Jonah does. We want to hide from mama. We don't want to tell the truth. But you know what? They're kind of like God. And they know the truth already. And what they're waiting on us to do is to say, I'm sorry, I did wrong, and I'll do what you want me to do. Doesn't that sound like a fun thing to do? Say yes. Now, if everybody says yes, candy's going to come this way. Not that candy. The other candy you were going to get. And I'm going to give you some candy this morning. And this is your candy to have. It's Lifesavers. But I want to show you another bag of candy that I got right here. And this candy is going to be on Easter. This is what you're going to get. And this candy is going to be out there hidden in eggs. People are going to buy plastic eggs, and they're going to put candy inside the plastic eggs, and they're going to bring the candy eggs with the plastic eggs with candy already inside them up to the church. And I want to take and give this bag, and it's going to go right back there on the table. Who will carry this bag back there for me? You're going to do it? Okay, good. You can do it. Now, because of that, I want to give a candy to everybody in here this morning. Okay? All right, here you go. It's raining candy, isn't it? All right, here.